Good morning friends. Today we are going to discuss the next point in the function is the recursion function. Recursion function, or it is also called as recursive function. Recursive function. This is important point in a chapter number 5, that is function. Let us see the definition of recursion, or what is meant by recursion. A function that calls itself is called as recursive function. A function that calls itself is called as recursive function. Function calls itself. Or next definition, recursion is one of the property of function. Recursion is a property of function when function calls itself in its own body, then it is called as function recursion. When function calls itself in its own body, then it is called as recursion function. Function calls itself in its own body. Or we can also say that it is a process by which a function calls itself repeatedly until some specified condition has been reached is known as recursion, and the function is known as recursive function. Or a process by which a function calls itself repeatedly until some specified condition has been reached is known as recursion. And the function is known as recursion function. Recursive function. Let us see the advantages of recursion function. What is the advantages of recursion function or recursive function? First is, complicated algorithms are broken into smaller algorithms. A complicated algorithms are broken into smaller and simple algorithm using recursion. Next, large programs can be made smaller using recursion. Large programs can be made smaller using recursion. Next, reduces length of the program. It reduces length of program. Next, it reduces unnecessary calling of function. It reduces unnecessary calling of function. Next, useful when some same solutions. Useful when same solutions is to be applied many times. Let us see one example of recursion function. Here, write a program to find factorial of number using recursion. Using recursion, we can find the factorial of number. Let us see the output. Factorial of number means, suppose user enters number 5. It multiplied with the decreasing order, means 5 into 3, 4 into 2, 3 into 2 into 1. Answer is equal to 120. This is called as factorial of 5. Suppose factorial of 4 is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Answer is 24. In this way, we can find the factorial of number. Let us see the output. Here we include header files, that is stdio.h and conio.h. Include conio.h. After that, in the main section, we take two arguments, to take two variables, integer variable. One is the number and second is the factorial. Here we declare a function factor. We can declare a function in the main section or above main. Here we declare a function in a main section. This part is called as a declaration of function factor. After that, we print the value from user or enter the value from user. Enter value from user. After entering a number, here factorial variable, we take factorial variable is equal to fact of number. This is called as calling a function. Here we call a function using the factorial. Here we print the factorial result, that is factorial of number equal to % of d and factorial variable. Here we write the function definition, integer return type, fact is the function name, and here we take one variable integer number. This is called as function definition. In this definition, we write a condition, that is, if number equal to 1, then it returns 1. Else it returns number into fact of number minus 1. This part is called as, or it is a recursive function call. Close curly bracket. In this example, the number is passed to the function factor to find the factorial. Here, in this example, number is passed to the factor function to find the factorial. If the value of number is received by the function is equal to 1, then it returns 1. Otherwise, it returns number into fact of number minus 1. Let us see explanation of this program. Here in main section, we take or enter a number from user, that is printf enter number. After entering number, address of number. Here we call the factor function, that is factorial holds the factor function. Factorial is a variable. After calling or entering the number, suppose user enters the number 5. Fact call function or function fact is called, that is fact of number, that is 5. Here after calling a function, it goes to the function definition section. Here in function definition, it checks that the number equal to 1, number equal to 1. If it is true, it returns 1. Otherwise, it returns number into fact of number minus 1. Here we check 5 equal to 1. No, the condition is false, so that the control goes to the else part. Here it returns number means 5 into fact of number minus 1, that is 4. Here again the function is called, that is fact of number, that is fact of 4. Again the control goes to the fact of 4, or it finds. After that it checks again int fact integer number. It checks again number equal to 1, that is 4 equal to 1. No, condition false. Then it again return number, that is 4 into fact of 4 minus 1, that is fact of 3. It return what? 4 into fact of 3. Again here function is called in its own body. That's why fact of 3 here, fact of 3. It checks if, here we check if 3 is equal to 1, condition is false. That's why it returns 3 into fact of 3 minus 1, that is it return 3 into fact of 2. Again fact of 2 is called in its own body. That's why we check once again fact of 2. Here in fact of 2, it checks number, that is 2 equal to 1. Condition is false. That's why else part is executed. It returns here number into fact of 2 minus 1, that is 2 into fact of 2 minus 1, that is fact of 1. Again function is called. Here we check fact of 1. If 1 equal to 1, that is number 1 equal to 1, here condition is true and it returns 1, and else part is false. It return 1. That return is back to the called function, that is fact of 1. Here it return 2 into fact of 1, that is 1. Here it return 2. It return 2. Return 2 back to the called function, that is fact of 3. Here return 2 is return, that is 3 into fact of 2 is 2. Here fact of 2 is answered 3 into fact of 2, 2. 6. Here it returns 6. The return value again returns to fact of 3. Here fact of 3 is 4 into fact of 3 is 6, that is 24. It returns 24 to the fact of 4. Here 5 into fact of 4 is 24. Here it returns 120, and 120 return. Here we print the factorial is equal to %d of factorial. it returns the value to that output, or it prints the value 120. Thank you.